Then on Sports Central, we go over March Madness game preview and prediction on the Sweet 16 matchup between the Arizona Wildcats and the Houston Cougars. 1 seed versus a 5 seed coming up here in the Sweet 16. Should make for a good matchup. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Arizona 33-3 heading into this matchup. One of the best teams in the country for sure, if not the best. And I mean, this team being 18-2 in Pac-12 play and 5-2 in games against the top 25. I mean, it's pretty clear as to why this team got a 1 seed in this tournament. And they're facing off against Houston, who has played very well in this tournament so far. They're 31-5 overall this season, 15-3 in conference play, and 0-1 in games against the top 25 this season. So they haven't played a lot of ranked opponents. I'm sure that was part of the reason why this team was seeded as low as they are at 5. But nonetheless, this team is playing like a 2 seed or higher right now. I mean, Houston, they played very well against Illinois, dominated the Fighting Illini, and of course had a huge win over UAB in the first round of action as well. Gives me on Thursday, March 24th in San Antonio. Your tip-off is roughly 10 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going Arizona here by 1.5. So the Wildcats are only favored here by 1.5 points. Not surprising seeing the spread as close as it is. I mean, you got Houston who, I mean, they've played really well in this tournament so far. They're playing as well as anybody, beating UAB 82-68 and, of course, beating Illinois by 15. And if you look at Arizona, they've played Wright State, who they beat them by 17, and TCU, they beat them by 5 in overtime. So, I mean, TCU, they gave them a fight. I mean, it was close all the way up to the very end. Obviously went into overtime, and Arizona pulled away from there. Over-under is 145.5, and your BPI is going Houston here, 59.2%. So the Cougars are favored by a decent amount in the BPI, despite Arizona being favored slightly in the spread. Here's your stat comparison for this matchup. Arizona, 84.6 points a game. And you get 67.5 points allowed. Your BPI rank is 4 versus Houston, who's got 75.8 points a game, 58.9 allowed, and their BPI rank is 2. So Houston and the BPI is ranked 2nd, which is pretty significant. They're actually above Arizona in the BPI rankings. And some notable matchups here. Arizona, of course, did lose to Tennessee by 4 at one point this season. They were 2-1 against UCLA, which, I mean, the Bruins are in the Sweet 16, so that's a good team there. Arizona also beat Illinois by 4. They were 2-0 against USC and beat Michigan by 18 at one point this season. And as for Houston, haven't played too many high-caliber opponents. I mean, that's why there's a bit of uncertainty for the Cougars going to the tournament, was because they didn't really have much experience playing against high-caliber opponents. But here you go. I mean, Houston's playing Arizona in the Sweet 16. They did lose to Wisconsin by 2. They lost to Alabama by 1. And they're 1-2 against Memphis over the course of the season. They did beat Oklahoma State and Oregon, though, 2 teams that missed the tournament. They beat Oklahoma State by 11 and Oregon by 29. And, I mean, Houston playing Illinois, of course, that's probably the best win that they've had this season, was against the Fighting Illini in the second round of action. So, I mean, Houston is playing at a really high level at the right time, that is for sure. And that's what you need if you want to make a deep run in a large tournament like March Madness is. Some key points for this one: Arizona 33-3 heading into this matchup. Just had a close win over TCU in overtime. And the Horned Frogs, they gave Arizona a fight in that game. That game was close for a long time. And I wasn't sure whether Arizona would pull it out. It was close for a long time. Horned Frogs definitely gave Arizona a fight in that game. But in the end, it was a good win for Arizona. And the Wildcats are a young team, but extremely talented. There's a lot of talent on this team, but the one concern that I see, and the main thing that concerns me with Arizona, is the experience. They don't have a lot of experience in the starting lineup, and that does concern me a bit. I mean, Arizona definitely has got talent to go a long way despite experience. But when you're looking at March Madness matchups, the more experienced team has got definitely an advantage. And, I mean, that's huge, having experience in March Madness. I mean, you can be a lower seed. You don't have to be a 1 seed and have some experience, and you can go a long way in the tournament. That's for sure. In Arizona, they got plenty of size. They're a very consistent team, one of the most consistent teams in the nation. So, I mean, Arizona, there's a lot to like about the Wildcats, and there's a reason why this team is one of the favorites to win the national title. And Houston, 31-5, coming off a huge wins against UAB and Illinois. That Illinois game especially was huge. And Houston, on the flip side, is a very experienced team. They got plenty of experience on this team, and I mean, that's a huge part as to why this team has got so much confidence. They are very physical, and they've been outstanding, especially on defense this season. So, I mean, defensively, Houston, really good team, and I mean, they've gotten huge wins over UAB and Illinois so far in this tournament. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a close one, that's for sure. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Arizona and Houston coming up here in the Sweet 16. I'm going to go with Arizona to get the win here, 72-67, but this is a tough one to pick. You got Arizona, who is incredibly talented. They're more talented, I would say, than Houston, but Houston is more experienced. I mean, there are advantages on both sides here, but I feel like the Wildcats are more confident picking Arizona in this matchup. It's going to be close, though. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it was lopsided in either way. I'm going to go 55% towards the Wildcats. Their over-under is 145.5. I'll take the under for this game and Arizona to cover the 1.5 point spread as of right now. So that said, I'm going to go with Arizona. They proceed on to the Elite Eight. Let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.